Good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson, and of course I'm rocking it with the cubby with the most. This is Techy-Joe. How are you, sweetie?
I'm doing great. How are you this evening?
Well rested and attackable. So, let's have some
Hey.
fun.
It's better than tired and evil.
Right.
There you go. I'm just saying, it's your normal line.
Yeah. Tired, unpaid, and aggravated.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. All right. Before we hop into our stories, I do want to say, hey, Christy, we're all being Christy. Peter Mom's got some questions for you. Go answer them. All right, we can move on.
Okay. Alrighty.
Alrighty.
Well, where do you want to start first? The Olympics, wages?
Oh, let's start
RPM?
Olympics. This one isn't going to cover the story, but did you see the picture of the diver? Like, reporters not knowing how to photograph this diver?
Oh my God. Well, it's basically I've seen that come up in a few places. TikTok, Twitter. It's not even just not knowing how to photograph him. It's also that swimsuit deserves a raise.
Uh-huh.
In terms of it's the hardest working thing at the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
I'm just like, y'all gotta calm down.
Right.
Y'all gotta calm down.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta calm down.
Well, and part of me is I feel sorry for the Olympian.
Hey, Devin. Yes.
Yeah.
You feel sorry for the Olympian.
Okay, because it's like, dude's doing his job. Dude doesn't get to choose the uniform. Dude doesn't get to choose how it's cut. Things suck.
Well, and there have been other uniform, especially when you're dealing with spandex, and all the tight fabrics, which are professionally required because, you need to be able to move without getting caught on anything. But no, there have been a lot of uniform unfortunates. That must have been a beautiful drawing, and then in 3 dimensions, it's like, no, no. Oh wait! I forgot there are 2 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking? Which swimsuit are you talking about? The long trunks that are about knee length, or the Speedo?
Speedo.
Okay, because there's also controversy over a pair of trunks that are virtually see-through.
Right.
And it's in both cases, it's like, oh, come on.
Right.
Oh, come on. But yeah, so there's that. Meanwhile, did you hear about the grinder ban?
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah. So apparently Olympic Village briefly had a grinder ban.
Well,
to prevent the unfortunate outing of athletes. Meanwhile, there are in the Olympic Village, Tom Daley has also commented about the anti-sex beds, which is a whole thing.
Right.
But apparently the grinder ban may have gotten lifted.
Okay.
Was the last news I heard, because apparently the athletes were leaving Olympic Village and exploring other hole-in-the-wall opportunities.
Right.
So, that's been fun news.
Always.
This is the gayest Olympics ever. Can I just point out?
Well, it is. Sorry, it's got more gay athletes in it than ever.
More out gay athletes than
ever.
I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily the gayest Olympics.
Right.
I figure the first one had to be pretty gay.
Well, there is a rallying call to go back to more traditional values.
Yeah, don't go back too far, or suddenly you don't have to worry about see-through.
Exactly.
Not at all. Not
Right.
Hey, Brenda. Hey, Shannon.
All right. So anyway, on to the opening ceremonies of the Olympics.
Yes, talking about Christians clutching pearls. So the Olympics opening ceremony tableau sparks controversy among Christian community from today. The opening ceremony's artistic director, Thomas Jolly, confirmed that Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper was not his inspiration for the performance. So yeah, while the theatrical opening ceremony at the 2024 Paris Olympics brought memorable moments, one scene from the performance has prompted mixed reactions. The 4-hour ceremony on July 26 kicked off the start of the Summer Games with athletes gliding down the river Seine and performers reenacting historic moments. In one scene, drag queens and dancers lined a long table in an image that sparked controversy after some connected the moment with Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper portrait of Jesus Christ and his 12 apostles. Though many found the moment an inclusive celebration for the LGBTQ plus community, others took to social media to call the imagery a mockery and insulting to Christian people following the performance. On July 28th, Paris 2024 spokesperson Anne de Camps apologized if people have taken any offense. Clearly, there was never an intention to show disrespect to any religious group. On the contrary, I think that artistic director Thomas Jolly really tried to celebrate community tolerance, de Camps said at a press conference. We believe that this ambition was achieved. If people have taken any offense, we are really sorry. The same day, the ceremony's artistic director, Thomas Jolly, confirmed on French television that Da Vinci's 15th century piece was not his inspiration for the scene. So, yeah, it turns out it's jumping ahead because it just turns into a bunch of, like, people whined on Twitter, people whined on blah, blah, blah. The interpretation of the Greek god Dionysus makes us aware of the absurdity of violence between human beings. Read a tweet from the official games. It was based on a totally different work of art.
See, and I don't know. I hate when people read into shit. Like these people are looking to get offended.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there was no offense taken when they did like a Trump version of The Last Supper.
Of course not.
I mean, and that's before you even get into, even if you wanted to take offense,
Right.
while Leonardo's version is probably one of the most common,
Right.
that imagery was a copy or was inspired by another version.
Right.
And another version, and another version, all the way back to, I believe, the 6th century.
At least.
Yeah. And then there have been multiple reuses of that imagery. And that's if you even are correct, or were correct, right, that it was taken from The Last Supper. Right. The fact that the uncultured swine, Christians, didn't know there was other artwork with similar themes,
mm-hmm,
and didn't bother to check their, the fact that, like, this doesn't really look like The Last Supper.
No.
And go, I wonder if there's another artwork that's sort of in a same vein.
Right.
That may have been the inspiration.
And questioning, like, ooh, maybe we should check ourselves. Who took art history? Oh, yeah, none of y'all, because you don't want to go past the 8th grade in high school.
Well, even if they do, there's not a lot of art history.
Right.
Sadly. Mostly because we've cut the arts. Because, why would you want to, like,
mm-hmm,
things? At all, for any reason. Ever.
Yeah. But anyway, no, some people need to take art history. And some people need to realize that Da Vinci wasn't the last and first to even use these hoses.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then you get into the fun of Da Vinci himself.
Yeah.
Like, again, if you are right, which you are not, if you were right, this was a commissioned artwork to someone who an artist that their life was not in accordance with your version of the Christian faith to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And he was literally just paid for his skill, not his. Like, the church shopped outside their ranks.
Right.
Like, they paid who could do the work.
Right. And there's been debate, about did he paint it? Did someone else paint it?
Well, there's that.
Did one of his students paint it? Did one of his lovers paint it?
Like, well, yeah. Yeah. And that's, again, even if you were right.
Yep.
Which you are not.
Right.
Yeah. Things people get offended about that are like, really? Really?
And sometimes I think they're looking for it.
Mm-hmm. Or just the fact that you don't know anything else about the world and art and other cultures, other religions, other...
Right. Yeah. I also think they're still upset that it didn't start with a prayer and end with a prayer.
Yeah, that whole public performance of Christianity is not really done outside of
U.S. government.
Well, the U.S. I don't know. Is any like I figure your majorly Catholic countries probably still would.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that,
right?
Like, nope. So, it's been fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's been fun.
It's been fun. All right. So, I hope you guys are enjoying the Olympics. We don't get to see them every 4 years. The Winter Games will be coming up. Let's talk about this wage access.
Yeah, so that was a wild TikTok I stumbled upon. So let me talk about the TikTok real quick. So one of our favorite little peoples on the TikTok, and I have to get her name, Under the Desk News. Mm-hmm. We love Under the Desk News.
Yes.
Because they bring up wonderful things. So yeah, there's currently in Wisconsin a earned wage access bill, also known as same day pay concept. But she brought up this really cool thing of, have you ever wondered why you got paid on the 1st and the 15th or every 2 weeks? Apparently, it has to do with the Industrial Revolution and employers not thinking their employees were responsible enough and would basically take their wages, spend them all, and then not have money to support their families or themselves. So we have lived with this since the Industrial Revolution. Now there's a push in many places to actually pay employees as they earn the money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is coming into two problems. There's one that has to do with the CRFB, or CFR. What is it? The CF, the government agency, the Credit Fairness Bureau. Elizabeth. Right. Anyway, there's concern that employers are treating or paid wages as a loan to their employees when they're doing same-day payment. Because some of them are. So they will pay you the day you earn your wages, but then they pay you but take interest out of it because it's a loan against your wages. Which there's a lot of pushback on that because no. Then there's the issue of why no one wants to shift away from every 2 weeks, monthly, bi-weekly, some other form of payment. And it has everything to do with all of the middlemen between you and your employer for wages.
Right.
So, let's take someone like ADP. They don't want you to get your wages same day. Because they hold the money. They actually, and it's unused, so there's a brief period where they can invest it and earn interest.
Right.
Very brief, but still, you do this for a number of companies, you earn some money. The next one is banks do not want you to get paid daily. It interferes with their ability to get overdrafts. And credit card companies hate this idea because many of their, so to speak, best consumers actually are utilizing credit to survive between paychecks.
Right. Common practices. But then you also are going to run into some other things. But, both banks collect fees on the money. They both collect interest on the money. The money going from one bank to another bank, transfer the money. Like, I get paid within 4 days at one company. And it drives our bank insane, getting 22 to 24 deposits in a month. And, they've gotten up to, I think we counted 89 one time. Like, our bank was like, what?
Yeah, they had a moment. They had a massive moment. Yeah, they weren't sure what to do with that.
Yeah.
So no, most banks aren't expecting this.
Right.
And react poorly to it. But the reality is this is one of those forced wait situations.
Right.
Like, there's no reason you cannot actually get same day wages.
No.
I mean, hi, we have PayPal that you can send money in mere minutes.
Right.
Mere minutes. Mere seconds.
Right.
We have an entire financial system that can move money in seconds. But yet we not only set up weird systems of pay periods.
Right.
Then we turn it into a wait for payroll that then gets shipped to a company that holds the money to then disperse it on a future date that sits here and plays with it. Meanwhile, you leave the employee waiting for their earnings with, and in some situations, that can end in, paychecks being withheld to help float the business because they didn't make the payroll because they're using the money.
Right.
Instead of having that immediate realization, we're not getting paid. So there are companies, especially failing companies, that will continue to work employees knowing that the company is going to end up shuttering and then effectively leave employees unpaid.
Right.
Whereas, there's
a number of networks out there that died on their in the mid of their monthly pay cycle, as advisors have never gotten paid.
It also distances people from their money.
Right.
So you don't get the immediate realization you didn't get paid for everything you worked.
Right.
Nor do you have the opportunity to realize you got overpaid for what you worked.
Right.
Which can create massive issues, and especially with our, wait for pay system, in which if there's an error and they claw back money, you then have to wait to get paid. It's like, but I need my money now. Like, we have a world built around the idea that you're going to get paid,
right,
on a frequency. We build our lives around this idea, and quite frankly, you cannot keep paying employees minimum wage and expect that they are not living paycheck to paycheck. That any glitch in this, is going to create issues.
Right, but also it kind of holds them in there with that. Well, I've got to make payroll. I've got to make the pay. I can't leave because I'm still waiting for my check. So
or just being perpetually stuck in. I just got enough to get, I just got paid. It's just enough to cover me. Okay, now I'm broke. I don't have anything to move forward with. And then, my car broke down. So now I owe a credit card company because I had to fix the car. So now I can't leave because I owe money.
Right, but what I'm saying is people don't realize their actual wages. Because they're so distant from that 2-week pay period that was 2 weeks ago.
3.
Or 3
For
weeks
most
ago.
Companies, at least 3.
Right.
Because typically you never get hired in a way that it will never happen. That you get hired and paid for exactly the 2 weeks you've worked.
Right.
At the 2-week mark. There's always some weird shift, at least with most salary employees. Right. Now, when you get into hourly, you do sometimes hit that luckiness that you start at the beginning of the pay period, and the pay period ends in a way that you get paid within roughly the same week you worked.
Right, but if you got paid, I'm going to take somebody on wages and hours I know on an average day.
Okay.
Calculate. You go to work, you work your shift, and you come home and you got $28.89 in your account. And we're going, huh? How's that work? I just spent 4 hours at work and I got paid less than $30. Less than most of the orders I rang up. But if you're getting
you don't, and that is a big deal. Like, a lot of people don't think about their time incrementally, especially W2, salary earners.
Right.
Like, it's just a number. And more often expressed as annual gross.
Right.
Which I also think is gross. Because it doesn't tell you what you're making.
Right. But if you do 2 weeks and then you have to wait till the following Tuesday to get paid, and you get a check at $296.15, hot damn, you think you earned something.
In some ways, yes. It does help to, depending.
Right.
Again, it may be enough to put towards rent or the electric bill, or like you paid a bill with it.
Right.
For
but
2 weeks, you paid up.
Shrink and that, what that paid value actually is. Because we hear numbers like $17.50 an hour, $11.65, $13.25, $8 an hour.
Gross pay.
Gross. Right. Gross per hour. It doesn't
Yeah.
click into the average person that hasn't learned to look at the number and goes, okay, that was 60 minutes of my time and I earned less than 3 cents a minute.
Basically.
Yeah. That 4 hours didn't even pay for the gas to get there, the water it took me to take a shower, or the shoes I'm wearing. All right,
Yeah.
Shannon's got some things on this.
All right. First she pointed out they don't want to do these system overhaul in accounting to pay out. But banks should not be allowed to charge overdrafts. Overdraw one time, that's all they get to collect. They don't get to charge you $35 for going over and one charge coming off before a deposit hits. Then another. I had issues with that because banks would do my outgoing, then my incoming, and that pissed me off. Depending on the bank, that may have actually at the time been a specific product. And it was intentionally created and sold to banks. By the way, banks, massive, multinational, huge banks, signed a contract for a piece of coding that had no exit clause. May I point out? This was brilliance. They sold it to shit tons of banks. On the premise, it would make your lowest daily balance accounts the equivalent of your clients who had average daily balances of $5,000. It would create that kind of revenue. The specific product was called Bounce Guard. And what it did is it very carefully reorganized transactions. One part of that was to process the outgoing before incoming. So you would create the most likely overdraft situation. Another aspect of it is it ordered your transactions by highest balance to lowest balance. So you would get the most number of overdrafts. So if like your rent check hits before your $5 at the gas station and you have a bunch of small charges, if that rent check overdrafts you by a penny, then you're going to get dinged 35 to 37, 29, whatever the amount is, repeatedly. The other thing it did, which was even more diabolical, it batched transactions and waited the longest possible time. Even though you have that electronically, constantly updated bank balance, it would also wait to post the transactions for a number of days. These are still ranked transactions, weighted transactions, meaning the biggest one was first. And so it would go through your account and create literally days worth of transactions. So if you overdrafted any one, it's going to get everything that you've done for days at a time.
Yep.
The last and most sinister piece of it was a process of double dipping. So what they would do is they would take, of course, your available balance, that not your posted balance, your available balance. They would, of course, be subtracting one by one as they came through what your transactions were. Before they posted, they would take the total and resubtract it from the available balance.
What a nightmare.
So literally at any point, you had to have double whatever you spent for a period of days at a time, always available in your account so that when they resubtracted it, you didn't get an overdraft. I went through this with BB&T, and if any of y'all also went through it, I literally had a moment where I thought I was too stupid to operate a banking account. Because I, for the longest time, could not figure out how in the hell I kept overdrafting repeatedly. Only to learn and figure out, because I sat there and did the math, because I kept seeing situations where I couldn't. How do you overdraft with a positive balance? How do you overdraft and still have a positive balance?
It's insane. Banking is insane. This is why I've separated accounts for everything. I don't care if I've got to have 20 bank accounts. I will have 20 bank accounts to manage shit.
What the tip-off for me was, by the way, when I figured out the double dip, I had a $900 bank balance. The only transaction they posted was my $550 rent check. I overdrafted and still had a $300 and some balance. And that's when my brain, like, alarm bells went off. How? You cannot, there's no way to do this unless I double that check, unless I take it away from the balance twice. I thought it was an honest banking mistake. Nope, they made no mistake. Oh, I was floored.
Oh, I would have been.
I don't know how I didn't get arrested in the middle of a BB&T. I do not know. I do not know. I said many things that day. But yeah.
I would have just closed the accounts.
I walked out. The day that I removed my payroll, like, I never actually closed my BB&T account, side note. It was a Wednesday. Excuse me. It was a Tuesday night. My payroll was supposed to go in on Thursday. I checked my balance and it was negative $1,400. It was going to eat my entire payroll check and leave me nothing. And I went into work on Wednesday and said, stop my direct deposit. Which thankfully the company I was with did. Because, and I told them flat out, I don't know what my bank has done, but if you pay me through direct deposit, I won't be here on Monday. Because I can't afford to come to work. Like, and I meant that sincerely and literally. Because I had tried to buy gas to put in my car, and my card got declined, which is what led me to checking my bank balance for the horror of being negative $1,400. Yeah, it's insane. All right, so Shannon points out it was Huntington Bank, and that shit made me hate banks even when I was careful it would find ways to screw me over without it processing shit. So now we know where Shannon's loathing of the banking industry came from. Oh, I totally understand. It's where it started for me. I had I loved my bank. I was raised to be a good banking customer. I was raised to enjoy banking, to save money, to be a responsible spender. Like, I loved going to the bank. It was a lovely experience. And BB&T destroyed it.
And now, just for FYI, BB&T is now Truist. We don't trust them.
Yep. Do not at all.
They still haven't figured out my father's dead.
Are Are they still trying to get him to take out a car loan or a credit card or a mortgage?
Logged into his account that has been closed. I closed his accounts. Every one of them are closed.
Yes.
I get notices all the time on every update they make to the online account, and it's like, there is no online account.
Yes. Also a reminder, because it did come through today on my phone. It did not happen to me. I know better, and it helped that the message was so horrible. So horrible. There was no chance I would have ever clicked the link. But if you are in Southern West Virginia, First Community Bank, they're being used in a texting scam.
Right.
Yeah. They're a very small, semi-regional bank.
Mm-hmm.
They're very tiny.
Actually, not as tiny as you think they are.
They've gotten bigger over the years.
Yeah, we can access them all the way up and down the eastern seaboard.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, they're not that big.
Oh, yeah.
They cannot. What?
Expand it to 500 miles, baby.
No.
Okay.
No. My little paper bank did not grow that big. They did not. They cannot have grown that big.
Come on. Click to interact. Thank you. Where is this bank? Their lowest bank is in Taylorsville, North Carolina. That's the southernest bank. Their northernest bank is in Grafton, West Virginia. Their easternest bank is in Chesterfield, Virginia.
Okay.
In Richmond, Virginia. They have gone on a buying spree.
Yeah, they did that a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't think about the mileage on that, but yeah, okay. Sorry, you said all up and down the eastern seaboard, and I was like, oh my God, they're not that big. I'm not going to go to Maryland and run into a First Community Bank.
Close. You're going to have to get that. You have to go through Richmond to get there.
Oh.
We can move happily to Charlottesville.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was some of the newer purchases. I forget what they bought for that.
I don't know. But, Greensboro looks even more happy because I don't have to change banks. I just have to drive
I've been to that branch.
Yeah.
It's a long story, but I've been to that branch.
Uh-huh.
It was wild.
Right.
Oh, but no, I have to say, as a baby banking customer, I did not know how spoiled I was.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just point out, they're a small regional bank. They are not friends of the words "fuck around and find out."
They're not friends of "fuck around and find out." They also know don't fuck with me when I walk in.
Right. They don't generally mess with people. They're pretty upfront. They're pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of these are the terms.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could the terms be better? Yes.
Right.
I think that of all banks, I don't think you're going to find a bank that on a 5-star performance review, I don't think you're ever going to find a bank with me that gets all 5 stars. There's always room for improvement with the banks.
I need to correct
they're my solid 4. They're my solid 4.
I don't care. I'll move there tomorrow.
I don't know. Living in Charlotte is super expensive.
I don't care.
Greensboro is harsh.
I love Greensboro. I love Columbus. I'd go to Myrtle Beach and live, and everyone knows how pricey it is there. If I could find a way to manage everything and move, suitcases are in the trunk already. I'll buy the rest I need when I get there.
I was horrified the last time we looked, because I think we did it on a show. My last apartment in North Carolina, which is technically in Durham, North Carolina. The rate for it had almost tripled. Like I moved in at $600 a month, and it went to $650 before I left.
Right.
And then we looked at it, and it was either right at or over 1,800. And I was just, oh, what? Because there was another apartment down the road that was identical, that was technically in Raleigh, North Carolina. That when I moved into that one, I found out it was 1,800 a month because it was in Raleigh, not Durham. I just can't even imagine if that one tripled. Like, how? Don't get me wrong. It was a really nice apartment complex, especially for the rate for the like $650 a month. Like it was nice. But
2,500 a month.
Okay, that's your last apartment, or you went and looked back on my previous?
No, I went and looked at what because I knew the address, what the house is now renting for in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, Jesus. Ooh. 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 Ah. 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 Oh, my apartment complex got renamed.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And repainted, and it's hideous. Oh, my God. Oh, it's come down a little. They have a rent special at $12.19 a month.
Not bad, not bad.
It's horrible. It was only like a 500 and some square foot apartment. Like, oh, that they're now calling 730 square. No, y'all lie. Where'd you find an extra? Oh, no. Oh, yeah. So Shannon says my friend had to move back in with her parents because she had a studio apartment, worked full time as a flight attendant, and still couldn't afford to eat. I can believe it. I wholeheartedly can believe it.
Right.
Like, we don't do bad, and I will say it is more of a struggle than it ought to be.
Right. Okay. So, my place in Ohio hasn't gone up that much at all.
Not up that much. Okay.
The apartment complex I used to rent before we bought the townhome. The unit that let me double check and make sure it's the unit I had. Yes, it is. Pet policy, la 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 la. Yep, it is. It was 600 when I rented it. It is now at 750.
Wow.
Okay.
That one held value.
It did. Now the next one, the one we almost got, but we ended up buying instead, is only 1,010.
Okay. See, those are numbers that I can process.
Right.
Like, I just $1,210. There's no way. That would have meant that in the 14 years, if I'd stayed with the company I was at, my take home would have had to have tripled in 14 years. I barely got an extra 8,000 out of them in 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, I would be sunk.
Yeah.
Like, I would be absolutely sunk. My rent would be more than one of my paychecks.
Ooh, I know what how much a YouTuber's apartment rents for.
Oh, well.
I know the kitchen.
I know you're. Well, you got to be careful with that, though. Some builders, because that messed me up.
Uh huh.
The apartment, literally, the apartment complex I lived in Durham, there was a exact duplicate.
Mm-hmm.
Exact. Every last detail. Same floor plan, same layout of the grounds, same color. Oh, no, excuse me. Their buildings were gray. Ours were yellow. But everything else was identical.
Right, but she's messed up. And okay, let me explain how she messed up so everyone understands this while we're somewhat careful.
Mm-hmm.
She's filmed outside her apartment. She's filmed the amenities of her apartment. She's filmed her in her kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what the building looks like. Because I know Columbus, I know where the area is.
Mm-hmm.
Made it very clear. Because it's short north and it's like, that is Gay Mecca move in. Next to, if you want to buy, you go to German Village. If you want to rent, you go to Short North. Which, sorry, if we move to Columbus, we're renting.
Okay.
Point blank.
I'm sorry. Please apologize to me for renting my dream.
I know. And here's why.
I'm sorry. I hate home maintenance. I hate mowing grass. I hate responsibility for mowing grass. I don't want nothing to do with grass.
Mm-hmm.
But I like having a phone number to call when shit breaks.
Right. It did get a major overhaul. It did get upscaled. Of course, the gays moved in and we went, mm-mm. Oh, honey, we ain't having this shit. Get it together.
Like, we'll just use it up.
Yes.
And property values skyrocket.
Yes. So, anyhow. And probably when things resolve themselves, we're probably headed back to Columbus or we're headed to Myrtle. One of the two. Like, I've settled at those minimums.
Okay. I'll do Columbus.
Yeah.
Like, I can conceive of living in Columbus.
Right.
I think Myrtle, I would just roast to death.
No. It's not hot all the time, honey. We're hotter here sometimes.
I'm just saying that, like, February is my ideal time to go to Myrtle Beach.
Well, I understand that, but you got to understand the average temp.
Oh, Shannon says $120,000 for a studio apartment purchase. No thanks. I can understand that.
Okay.
Especially to own it. To own it.
Yeah. Okay. The average in Myrtle is 70 degrees year round.
I mean, fair. Yeah, Brenda points out, add in the humidity with the heat, Joe. You don't have to tell me. I used to live in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I moved down there, and I swear to God, for 4 years, all I heard is, it's not the heat, it's the humidity.
Mm-hmm.
That and bless your heart, which I originally thought was terms of endearment. They turned out to be not.
The average here is 81.
Yeah. We're getting warmer.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad when the South starts cooling off. Exactly. And West Virginia's hot.
Well, it is compared to the beach because you are taking in the air coming off the beach, off the water. Mm-hmm. Like, I was much more comfortable in Myrtle than I am here.
That's fair. That's fair.
Plus, I don't get the snowstorms. I don't get the arthritis blast. I don't get the half of that. And you can go to the beach anytime you want.
But we do have to figure out how to tie down your broom safely in case of storms. Because they get them, and they're big, and they will impale you into buildings.
Right.
Just saying. Shannon doesn't sound like my husband. It's a fresh heat, honey. Talking about 110 degrees in Mexico. Forget that mess.
And that's a different heat than we have here because our humidity is like 0.
That I don't know. I think I would be the guy that, like, day one, car breaks down in the middle of the desert, dies. Like, it'd be like Oregon Trail, but Arizona.
No. I think that you do really well, especially when you realize that we could have a housekeeper and a pool boy for about $600 a month.
Ooh, Shannon says Acapulco, they have humidity.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can I just move to the North Pole? I'm fucking jolly. I look good in red.
No, you have neck fusions.
And
They hurt more in cold.
I'll be fine.
Uh-huh.
I live in a desk chair anyway. It's not like I go to the outside.
Yeah, but think about it. If we lived in a warmer, more tropical climate, your desk chair could be outside. And you would be away from all your allergens because there's no oak, no moss, no mold down there.
I feel like I would find new things.
I don't think so.
I feel like my allergen list would grow. Like, I'd just get on the island and be like, do an allergy test. Let's see if I can stay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how it would work out for me. My whole arm would be the size of a bank vault.
Nah.
Shannon says your desk chair would be stuck to your ass from sweat.
Depending. But anyhow, hopes and dreams, ladies. Hopes and dreams. Darling, get it moving.
Oh, we do what we can. All right. So Shannon is cutting you down left, right, and center. All right. So moving right along. Now we talked previously about Bar PM.
Mm-hmm.
This is out of St. Louis, Missouri. That was the case in which the officer drove into a bar and then proceeded to arrest the bar owner for his behavior in the situation. Oh, so from, let's see, what is this? This is KMOV St. Louis, CBS 4. It's been nearly 8 months since the St. Louis Police Department cruiser swerved into the front of a South City bar, causing damage and leading to the arrest of one of the owners for getting into an altercation with officers at the scene. A co-owner of Bar PM, Chad Morris, is charged with third-degree assault and resisting arrest. Charging documents accuse Morris of causing a disturbance after the police cruiser rammed into the South City bar. He is also accused of hitting one of the officers in the chest with an open hand. St. Louis police said the cruiser swerved off the road because the officer driving the vehicle was adjusting the radio. Morris's attorney said the evidence shows his client didn't do anything wrong. The attorney has made a motion to dismiss the assault charge against his client. The attorney said the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office and St. Louis Police Department have yet to provide necessary records of the officers involved in the altercation in December last year. Earlier this year, the other co-owner of Bar PM, James Pence, filed a lawsuit against the two officers in the city of St. Louis for damages. Pence alleges he was arrested without probable cause, and the officer who crashed into the bar was negligent while driving a city vehicle. Pence is not facing any criminal charges related to the incident. Now, there's a little more to this. So the documents they haven't released go into a previous situation that one of the officers, did they name him in here? Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. Let me see if it links it in the other. So where is it? Rennell Wallace apparently has a habit of arresting people for things that weren't illegal. He actually previously settled a lawsuit, allegedly. I feel like I need to get my Star Jones moment in. Allegedly. The city of St. Louis settled a lawsuit for $125,000 for his arrest of someone who was filming the police. That's it. That's all the dude did. Filmed the police, got arrested for it.
That's insane.
So they're looking for documents related to that lawsuit. And the city refuses to turn anything over related to that lawsuit.
Well, court documents are public record. Like, do they need Emily D. Baker down there to pull those records?
Yeah, so it's actually looking like there's going to be a Brady violation problem.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah, because the prosecutor is refusing to turn over anything related to that lawsuit.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah, because this is discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Brady violations can cost the city a lot of money quickly.
Mm-hmm. I just got to sit here and think, at what point, how many times do you protect this officer?
Uh-huh.
And how much do you got to spend?
Right. What's it worth?
Cut your losses and just go, dude, don't care if we agree with you or not. We can't afford you.
Right.
You're too expensive.
Well, and then he can file FOP and they can force the job back. But here's my question. Mm-hmm. Who's he sleeping with in the department or the prosecutor's office?
Probably the
Or what bodies does he have hidden? What I mean by that is, where does he know some dirty shit that's gone down and he's using it to make the city pay?
Well, not only that, he's using it to one, get the city involved in lawsuits that are costly and settlements. But two, definitely depriving people of their liberty, yanking them off the street. Again, I fell a Star Jones, allegedly, that needs to come in here. But then there's the whole issue of, and then you swerve a cruiser into a building causing property damage.
And I'm trying to figure out how he swerved a cruiser while adjusting the radio. We adjust the radios all the time in the car. Mm-hmm. Left hand don't move when the right hand does.
I mean, there are issues with people drifting. You can drift when your attention's distracted. You will sometimes either go in the direction you move or let your hand drip. Right. That happens. This was more like a turn before a turn should have occurred. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sorry, we watched that video repeatedly. It looked more like a turn before a turn.
Yes.
Like the turns up here, you turned into a building.
Yeah.
Don't know what you were thinking or where you were going or when you realized your mistake. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
All right, so we're going to take the Toddy Westbrook story because this is breaking news. It broke 2 days ago.
Okay. So Toddy Westbrook settles lawsuit. Leaves Halo Beauty, plans to relaunch beauty brand. The beauty guru announced that her legal drama over her supplement and beauty brands has come to an end. After a 4-year legal battle that led to the closure of her makeup brand, beauty influencer Toddy Westbrook said the lawsuit has now been settled. Quote, "The past 4 years are done. It's over," said Westbrook in an August 1st video on her YouTube channel about former business partner Clark Swanson's lawsuit against her and her brands. In the video, she also announced her plan to independently relaunch her makeup brand, Toddy Beauty. She and her husband, James Westbrook, are stepping down from Halo Beauty as part of the settlement. It was settled on the phone without lawyers, she said of the lawsuit, which was filed by Swanson, her co-founder at supplement brand Halo Beauty, on October 20th of 2020. Naming the Westbrooks, Halo Beauty, and her makeup label parent company, Toddy Cosmetics, the lawsuit had accused Westbrook and her husband of fraud, negligence, and breach of fiduciary duty to Halo Beauty. In the new video, Westbrook also revealed details on her plans to relaunch Toddy Beauty, which she shuttered in November 2021. At the time, she listed both the COVID-19 pandemic and the lawsuit as reasons for the shutdown. I will be moving on from Halo Beauty, as will James, and the good thing is I can now focus my energy on relaunching my makeup brand, she said. Moving forward, she also stated she is interested in launching a fragrance brand, which she said she had been knee-deep in with a trademark name before litigation got in the way of the launch. She added that the settlement of the lawsuit removed any legal issues with using her name on new brands. I have my name back and I'm free, she said in the video. She also noted that her Toddy Beauty relaunch will not involve outside business partners. Toddy Beauty's original launch through a partnership with Seed Beauty was a point of contention in Swanson's lawsuit, which alleged that the decision to create a makeup brand with a separate partner marked a breach of the Westbrooks' fiduciary duty to Halo Beauty. I don't want to partner in anything that I do, she said. So that comes to us from Business of Fashion.
Yes. There's some important lessons here. Lesson 1, never sell your name.
Don't sell it.
Lesson 2, watch partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This dude, he was dirty. He was going to every drama channel. He was feeding them anything and everything he could find on Toddy. Mm-hmm. Toddy was at Starbucks drinking whatever. That ain't healthy. Report on it. Toddy lied about this. I mean, like he was paying one. And I've got a crystal ball. She doesn't. Paying her to report shit. False allegational stuff. Like, this was a PR nightmare. He filed this in like 10 states.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, like he was all, like he filed it in Washington, Texas, LA, California, Nevada. I mean, he filed, and it was a suit against her, against Toddy Beauty, against Halo, against James. So that's 4 lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
4 separate lawyers had to be involved. At minimum, she has spent $1 million dealing with this idiot.
So it sounds like he got brand ownership over her name.
He thought
originally in the contract that he had brand ownership of the name.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least Halo Beauty did. So brand ownership of the name, an exclusivity agreement, and an inability to form another. The exclusivity agreement would be that she could not form another beauty company in competition.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bad contract. It was an illegal contract, but she was looking at spending millions to get her name back. At one point, she couldn't even accept her checks from YouTube because they were sent to Toddy Westbrook.
Okay, so he actually had her full name.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, no. So in the story, what happened was this, she got so excited and just signed whatever, which happens to a lot of YouTubers. May I point out, a lot of people starting their career get excited when someone comes up with major money and wants to back them to do a thing. Mm-hmm. And the contract is a formality. That's sign on the line. Just sign on the line. No one.
Well, one, he lied about his money.
Oh.
It was supposed to be a 30 70-30 split in the company.
Mm-hmm.
Toddy would promote the product, he would develop the product, James would run the business.
Mm-hmm.
The contract had more legal holes in it than Swiss cheese. And I'm not talking the good Swiss cheese that have small holes. I'm talking big holes all the way through it. And the negotiations were not recorded. The communications were not recorded. It was bad. It was bad. And so they're running this beauty supplement. You guys remember this also calls the Bi Sister incident.
The what?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So she was this is before Dramageddon, or this started Dramageddon. She was friends with James Charles. By the way, I don't back James Charles. He needs put in jail. Anyhow, James Charles goes to Coachella in his white chaps outfit that needed to be tailored better. Like that poor cow must have been real skinny. Okay. And he needs to see an electrologist if he thinks he can wear those. Moving forward. And James Charles would not ever come out and support Halo's hair products.
Okay.
Well, he done a Snap and a Instagram story for another hair company.
Okay.
Another supplement company. I think it was Bear or something another.
How random.
Yeah. Anyway, the supplements were Bear's.
Okay.
So she came out and just aired his dirty laundry. Like, how dare you? And by the way, here's everything you've done, including trying to make the moves on a straight waiter at my birthday party.
Ooh. All this because he wouldn't hawk her products?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, she had built his career completely.
Okay. And all she's asking is for like one endorsement.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of get it. Granted, I mean, that's a little bit much. You know what I mean? Like, I think you reserve the right to be like, girl, I ain't doing that for you.
Right.
I mean, in the relationship, I'm totally down for that. I get that. But, like, throw him under the bus and bring the receipts for everything he ever did.
Right.
Like, that's some, like, major energy for that situation.
Well, and it was because she had offered him a very lucrative contract. Sugar Bear Hair is the one he backed.
Sugar Bear Hair. Okay.
She had offered him a very lucrative contract, and he's like, no, that's too young for my audience.
Okay. So did the Sugar Bear Hair come up with, like, more money, better product, better...
No one knows.
Okay.
Although all he knows, they gave him security at Coachella.
Oh.
Like he needed security.
Well, depending.
Well, I think others need security from him, but that's another topic for another day. Maybe a barista chat.
That's fair.
Yeah. But anyhow, so that was going on at the same time at the same time as this Clark Swanson situation.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
That was a whole lot of things going on all at once.
Oh yeah. I can't believe you did not hear this. You don't pay attention to crap that goes on around me.
No.
Including dinner conversation.
I do try to listen to dinner conversation. It's just like you get really into the beauty vloggers. You really do. And I just like I'm doing good to know names. the drama that surrounds them, I like. There's just so much. They are all at each other's throat. Like, and it's like every day there's a new drama.
No, it's been kind of quiet, especially since like Jeffree Star moved out of California.
Which there's that.
Yeah.
But no, there's still like drama unfurling from when he was in California.
Some, but not really. Like, he's been really quiet. He went over to TikTok and started doing lives, which is kind of cool. And then we have he has some voice memos that when they drop, they're going to change a lot of things.
Okay.
Like, we know that from the conspiracy problem.
What problem? Wait, I'm lost.
The conspiracy palette that Shane Dawson.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Is like Shane Dawson is still dripping shit out.
Well, he's dripping shit. Jeffree is the OG.
Right.
Okay. Jeffree is sitting here going, you know what you told me, and I saved it.
Which, I mean, it's Shane Dawson. Of course he's trying to bait him.
Well, no. This is not on Shane.
Okay.
This is on another beauty guru out there.
Again, trying to bait him into spilling tea.
Of course. So, we've got that running, and it's kind of like when that drops, it's going to be earthquaking, according to what the people that have heard this have said. Currently, the biggest issue in the beauty community is Raw Beauty Christie. Raw Beauty Christie is currently building a house for her sister on her property.
Okay.
She's still backing James Charles, like reviewing his products, doing all this stuff for James. James has a problem. He's done a gray sweater video about this problem. It's a bad problem.
I mean, it basically sounds like she is in a pineapple under the sea on timing to get off this ship. Okay, got it.
Okay.
All right.
However, the sister runs a program and does community schooling for a organization that's anti-LGBT. Like, their tagline is "Don't fuck with our kids." Raw Beauty Christie's child was seen in a demonstration in one of their shirts, and she liked the picture.
Oh.
Okay, but she won't speak on this at all. She'll make comments about building the house and potatoes and growing blueberries on the property and all this other stuff, but will not address and clearly say either A, yes, this is the organization I back and I believe in what they do, or no, I don't.
Oh. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
While still backing James Charles.
Yeah, that's an uncomfortable position to be in.
Yeah.
That's like saying Elizabeth Warren makes many great points. I'm still voting for Trump, but Elizabeth Warren makes many good points.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Hey.
Like, I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where that's kind of.
Yeah. So why do I like watching beauty drama? I like watching beauty drama and beauty gurus because it's easy. They are luxury brand items. I mean, Jeffree Star's palette is like $120 for the Blue Bud. His newest palette, he is like his expensive. We can see this pattern of behavior with his presentations and going, where else does this trickle to?
Many places.
Huh?
Many places.
Many places. Watching his investment strategy is amazing. That man has made some money.
Oh. Yeah, so Shannon says, not everyone has Dr. Phil's cojones when doubling down on bad stuff that came to light about things. Teen Torture Inc. Reference, if no one has seen it. Away from my, I'm away from my computer for a minute.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Cool. No biggie. But no, like, so I don't know. Like, we have this in the psychic industry, but not as good and tasteful.
Well, not as tasteful. Or not as, well, I mean, the tea's not as rich. It's usually like random psychic baby might not actually be a psychic, did some crazy crap.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, though, like, that was the whole, like, doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on that professor done killed that boy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, there's incidents like that. There's incidents like the astrologer that went psycho. And we talked about last psychic call.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. That's some tea. That's some tea.
Yeah, there's other tea, and you know the one I'm talking about because I just stepped out of the situation.
Uh-huh. That's a whole world of tea.
Right.
I hope you one day get to talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, can I just say that's one of those, like, inside the industry, it's pretty much an open secret problem that, like, ain't nobody got the balls to talk about publicly because it's a career ender.
No, well, it is. It is because it's a career ender because it breaks the confidence clauses that are in our contracts.
I know, but it's one of those things that it's like the number of people that could get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Any which way it goes, like, you could clear whole networks on that one.
Uh-huh.
Just one.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, those confidentiality clauses really need work. Hey, Supreme Court, since you got rid of the non-compete clauses, can we work on those confidentiality clauses? All right. So let's find out if Joe's an asshole this week.
All right. Am I the asshole for uninviting my uncle to my wedding? I got engaged a few years ago and announced to my family that I was going to have a wedding back home. I live abroad. I was a 32-year-old male marrying a 28-year-old male. One day on my WhatsApp family group, my godmother, 56 female, asked who everyone was voting for mayor. My uncle, 48 male, said he was going to vote for the far-right candidate. This politician was a known homophobe who made plenty of declarations on TV against LGBTQ plus people, including in an interview with Elliot Page, where he said that the number of gays and drug addicts increased over the years because women are not staying at home and are working outside the house instead. Oh, just... He's a man. My godmother thought he was joking, but he confirmed that he was voting for him because my uncle was working for the police force, and one of this guy's campaign promises was to increase funding and power for the police. I then told him in the group chat that he was no longer invited to my wedding because I wouldn't have someone who votes for an anti-gay politician who is obviously against same-sex marriage to celebrate my same-sex marriage. I left the group and he told me in a private message that he wasn't going to change his vote to, quote, buy a ticket to his nephew's wedding. Closer to the date, my godmother tried to convince me to invite him by saying that he was feeling very left out because he was the only one who wasn't invited, and he was looking terribly sad when he saw my sister handing an invitation to someone else in front of him. She also said that would make my 80-year-old grandmother very upset because her son was not invited. I stood my grounds and went ahead with the ceremony without inviting him. He blocked me from every social media until more recently when something else happened. I will share this update later, but I don't want to influence the opinion now. Am I the asshole for uninviting him publicly and going ahead with the wedding without him?
Nope.
Okay, can we point out the irony? Like, it's all summed up. It is all summed up. Not the asshole. He was feeling very left out because he was the only one who wasn't invited. I'm sorry, you're in a WhatsApp group talking about your decision to vote for a politician who literally lumps gays, drug addicts into the same group, and blames it on women not staying at home. So I'm sorry. So you don't want women to have equality. You think gays are bad and shouldn't have equality. And you don't care about drug addicts except as a problem. And you are upset because in expressing that opinion, there was a consequence that removed you from the table. Like, dude, do you need a sign?
I think he needs a sign. I think he needs something back for education. I also think that as long as these politicians find these gold ticket items, like in West Virginia, if you say you back the coal industry and you're going to bring back coal, guaranteed you're elected.
Yeah, there's nothing else you really can do.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be horrible the day we have two candidates that both do not back the coal industry, if that ever happens.
I know.
Voters' brains will explode. They will have no clue what they're supposed to do.
Right.
They will be walking around going, well, it's apparently the end times. I'm either voting for the Antichrist or the Antichrist. I don't know.
Right. And, these are gold ticket items. Oh, I back the police and law enforcement and I want to increase funding. Gold ticket item. I want to send your wife back into the kitchen and take away half your income. Not a popular view, but no one's listening to that.
Mm-hmm.
Lumping us, LGBTQ plus with drugs and things is a tactic. It's a tactic to cause us to be seen as lesser, to be seen as less human, a bad influence, against public good. Yeah.
Because not too long ago, we basically were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, homosexuality, sodomy was criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, need I remind anyone, North Carolina actually had a law called Crimes Against Nature.
Mm-hmm.
That was a sodomy law, an anti-sodomy law, targeted at the LGBTQ members of society.
Right.
Like, and it was not a pretty law.
Right.
Just like as a refresher. So, and for a police officer especially.
Yeah.
That's no.
Yeah.
So no, I do not feel bad that you blocked him or that you prevented him from going to your wedding. I really think this is one of those moments someone has to stop and think.
Right.
I'm glad you didn't bow to the pressure to invite him. Because hopefully this was, I don't want to say it was a lesson learned. I think it has to be a dawning moment, like a hard dawning moment of the things that you think or the things you are willing to support,
mm-hmm.
just to get a thing that mm-hmm. you want,
mm-hmm.
Are really horrific.
Well, not only that, but these promises they make. golden ticket items never come true. I.e., coal has not came back to West Virginia in the level that it was in 1970s, 1950s, 1940s, and it won't because the market won't support it.
Mhm.
If they could sell it, they could support it.
Right. Well, and my biggest issue here, especially with him being an officer, is there's an assumed ethics line
Right.
that, what are you doing professionally
Mm-hmm.
if you can't understand that, like, there's, like, where's your line?
Right.
Like, are you going to give a pass to a child predator because, they'll give you a raise? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
think it through. Like, how far are you willing to go? Right now, you're after people you aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're willing to, like, well, forget the gays. I'm not one of them. Forget the drug addicts. I'm not one of them. I'm not a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll trade all of those people
Mm-hmm.
for a raise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what she said.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, that's what she said.
Right.
I don't care about any of these people. I don't care about their rights. I don't care about their existence. Fuck them. I get money if this guy gets elected.
Right.
Vote for him.
Right.
Like, think it through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where's your line? What are you going to keep trading for that
Right.
raise? Oh, Shannon says, I'm just glad that the woman that hated homeless people as a matter of course didn't get elected in St. Albans. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that.
Very happy. But
okay.
yeah, well, Shannon. Oh, okay, go ahead.
But see, here's a larger stemming problem, and I'm seeing it more and more in LGBT bio families. I'm noting bio versus choice.
Right.
Hidden wolves that we just keep accepting and accepting and accepting. Like, well, that's okay. Well, it's grandma.
Well, some of them are in sheep's clothing. They're nice to your face, but they'll turn right around and vote all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you don't, like, you've never brought it up. You never thought to bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't imagine this was someone who would do that.
Right.
But then you find out someone said the magic word to them, and they're like, got my vote.
Well, not only got my vote, but made my choice.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're the outsider of the group doesn't mean you're abnormal.
Right.
And you've got to sometimes see people for who they are, not the position they have classically held in your world. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's grandma. Oh, I got to do it for grandma. Oh, that's my uncle. I've got to do. No. You don't have to keep putting up with bullshit. You don't have to keep putting up with disrespect.
Yeah, Shannon points out, as for the person not letting their uncle come to the wedding, that's akin to when my dad got mad. I wouldn't let him meet the kids when they were little because of his involvement with the Klan. We're talking KKK. I'm not exposing people I love to that. And he had to jump through some hoops before he got to meet them.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I really struggle with this whole concept of it, because it's always people who are really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Mm-hmm.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You gotta, have responsibility and accountability, and that will just sit and harp on these things. Like,
mm-hmm.
If you're a grown up, you figure it out. And then they do stuff.
Right.
And, like, they face a consequence.
Right.
And they're horrified.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but you should be all about this.
Right.
This is the thing that you say you're into.
Right.
That, like, you like this.
Mm-hmm.
That this is what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you mad? Why
Right.
are you mad?
Right. And then, I think the godmother needs fired also for that statement, that one statement. Your 80-year-old grandmother is going to be upset that her son's not invited. Yeah, she should be upset with her son.
I mean, part of me is trying to go, I think the godmother gets it, but then is stuck in the catch-22.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's stuck in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's knows that what her husband has done is wrong.
No.
She can't get him to understand that what he's done is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And has probably already heard from the grandmother
Mm-hmm.
that it's her job to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what do I do with that?
You
What
know,
do I do with that?
you look at him and go, well, that's his bed. He made it. He lied in it. He made his life and he lied in it.
Yeah, but it is hard to be stuck in that catch-22
Mm-hmm.
between all sides where it's like, I get it. I think it's wrong. I don't want to deal with this.
Right.
Everyone's forcing me to deal with this.
Right. All right. So,
It's kind of where I think the godmother is. But
yeah,
all right.
so poll is up. Cast your votes. Of course, it's yes, no, everyone's shitty here, or damn, you're a deal pickle. And let's run over and do some poly advice while they're trying to make their decisions.
Absolutely. So, advice and experiences on adding sleepovers. So, nesting partner, 39 female, and I, 40 male, have been practicing poly proper for 3+ years. We initially set up around seeing people out of town and had a framework of agreements for maintaining relationships and planning special weekend trips with other partners. 2+ years ago, we both transitioned into dating people in town, which has been relatively smooth sailing, but has been historically pretty casual so far. We both currently have other relationships which we keep up regularly. Intimacy and deeper connection has always been a lot more of a priority to me than my nesting partner. In fact, she can tend to feel a bit nervous about intimacy. Over time, we've become increasingly non-hierarchical in our practice and prioritizing more and more autonomy in our relationship. We do still have what I feel is a quirk of no in-town sleepovers. I have been on the record since this past winter as needing that to eventually change, but have not been pushing hard at it and just trying to allow space for it to work through. Recently, nesting partner preempted a conversation about it and expressed that it still felt scary for her. But she could see it was important to me and also people that we're attempting to have relationships with, and she could imagine a path forward, even if she doesn't know what it looks like yet. I have someone I would very much like to start sleeping over with on occasion, and she recently asked if I am available for that. I told her that it would be on the table but would be a new step. I just want to make sure that move is not made rashly or carelessly. What advice experiences do y'all have with adding sleepovers to your repertoire? Ultimately, I know that I'm free to make my own choices, and even if they cause some difficult feelings, would be respected. I'm also experienced enough at this that I'm not going to make this other partner have to interfere with the negotiation or feel like we've been granted permission to sleep over. But I still want to be considerate to my nesting partner and make this new move on the good foot. I think a lot of this will just be some strategies and self-soothing advice for NP because jealousy and insecurity are likely going to be factors in the early stages.
Communicate. Plan it. Back your house. Okay. Communicate, i.e., when are you going to be gone? Plan it. Everyone knows that you're going to be gone Thursday night. Back your house. If you're responsible for making dinner normally on Thursday nights, dinner's in the fridge. You're responsible for taking the trash out. Trash is already at the curb before I'm leaving.
I I think ultimately this is a feeling problem.
Right.
Like, and I think you're just going to have to rip the Band-Aid and be like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Because where nesting partner is at, I think, is it's not a logic problem. It's not that she has a logical objection to it. It's not that she has a logical problem with it. It's not that she even really has any kind of reservation logically about it.
Right.
Like, she gets it. She knows. She's like, she got it.
Right.
The problem is it feels weird. It feels icky.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's going to be this really bad thing that once it occurs, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. And it feels like, you know, this is going to be a bad move.
Right.
I don't think there's any logical resistance. I think it's purely, I don't want to do that because I don't want to do that because I don't want to do that.
Right.
Not in a sense of I have an actual stated objection.
Right.
Just I'm afraid of what is next.
Right.
But at the same time is also trying to like communicate already that I know this is going to happen. I know that we're going to do this. I know that it's going to occur. It's kind of like I'm really getting feeling of it's at the point of just rip the Band-Aid.
Right.
Plan the date. Do all the things that you need to do to, like you said, communicate clearly. Arrange your house. Go like get your house in order for anything you need to or would normally do.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that, you know, you do this as gently as possible.
Right.
Like, I'm reachable by phone. Like, you can call at any time. At least for the first couple. Or the first few.
Mm-hmm.
And let it become, like, this is what's happening.
Right.
I think this is an instance in which you've sat on the fence long enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to just move.
Right.
And I think you're going to find it comes out better for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're looking for her to green light it, you're going to wait forever.
Right. I know, and I think you both just have to agree to it. And you may need to start out simple, like, I'm not going to be home till 3 a.m. I'm not going to be home till in the morning. I won't be home till mid-afternoon. I'll see you after work tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that may also be part of it as well, as fear of, like, is there going to be a post-conversation?
Right.
Like, what's that going to look like?
Right. And I think that conversation is, so how was your time? Great. She's got a better bed. Maybe we should replace her mattress.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's probably a big point to bring up is sometimes the fear is that, like, this is how they leave you.
Right.
Like, this is how they leave you. This is how he's going to leave me.
Right.
It's going to be better there, and he's going to like her more, and he's going to... And it's like, the most likely outcome is the complete opposite of that.
Mm-hmm.
The most likely outcome is complete opposite. God, her place smells weird.
Right.
God, that bed sucks.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, I got kept up all damn night by some stupid car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or whatever opposite. Like, it always works out. That, like, I think people forget the experience of being single.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the relief of, like, settling down a little. Is that, like, spending the night somewhere, it really is, like, when you're single and you're sleeping over at someone else's home, that is a horrible night.
Mm-hmm.
It is a horrible night. There are weird smells, weird feels, weird noises, weird everything.
Right.
It's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
And there's almost this like, one, I didn't sleep, and then two, like, oh, relief, I get to go home.
Uh-huh. I don't know. Like, we handle it really easy. It's just like, maybe home tonight, may not. I'll call and let you know.
Yeah.
That's how me and you handle it. Me and Invisible, it's like, I'll call you at 10.
Yeah.
Tell him at 10. I do that if we're out of town. I do that when we had the two houses. I called him every night at 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, it just kind of, you have to figure out what each person needs to be comfortable, and kind of, sorry about that, guys. I had something fall off the shelf. You just have to figure out, like, what do you actually need,
right,
to feel comfortable. And then the understanding is not going to be the devastating event you think it is.
No.
The devastating event that you're not thinking about is the point in which, if like OP sits here and just keeps waiting,
mm-hmm.
this becomes a point of contention. This is going to be a little grain of sand that keeps
Mm-hmm.
growing and growing and growing in irritation,
mm-hmm.
until there's gonna be a far worse version of this,
mm-hmm.
where it's spontaneous,
mm-hmm.
done in anger. His phone probably gets turned off,
mm-hmm.
and the nesting partner gets to spend that night, or maybe a few nights,
mm-hmm.
in the dark.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're at. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know who you're with. I don't know if you're coming home.
Right.
Nothing.
Right. And this sounds like they're running parallel.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. The way it talks.
Well, I think it's not only that they're running parallel, that they're coming in from hierarchical.
Right.
Which, I mean, I think that created the problem in the first place.
Right.
Because, but not for the hierarchical, you probably would have already gotten here,
right,
handled it, and moved on when you were still, and I don't know, maybe other people don't necessarily do this as much as I do. Especially in an early relationship, I'm kind of already ready for it. It could end at any moment, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, the less involved we are, the more something like, well, I spent the night over here. Okay, cool. And then it becomes part of the thing.
Right.
If you do this like near monogamy, or do monogamy, and then you go into hierarchical,
right,
all the rules, terms, contracts, negotiations, and stipulations that go with that.
Right.
And then you realize, ooh, hierarchical sucks.
Right.
And you have to unwind the hierarchical aspect of your polyamory.
Right.
And now you're way down the road in this. Okay, now you've created a thing that, yeah, it's going to be scary.
Right.
Like, it's going to feel like he left you.
Right.
It's going to feel like you had a major argument and he's just not coming home.
Right.
And he's in the arms of someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't the case, but you've created this like world,
right?
And you've been chipping away at it, but this is kind of the last big piece,
right?
And then it's like, okay, no, we're out of hierarchical entirely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that part, but I think it's one of the it's definitely, to me, at this point, it's going to be a Band-Aid rip.
Right.
Like, you just have to do it and be like, we're going to make you okay with this.
Well, and I think they both have to do it. Like, we're both out of the house on Friday.
That would work amazing.
Yeah.
Is like, no one's coming.
Yeah.
Everyone's staying over.
Right.
You're not doing anything I'm not doing.
Right.
And then we're going to, come home.
We'll meet it for breakfast at Denny's and compare notes.
Yes.
Yes. Which we've done. But anyhow. All right. Let's check that poll.
Alrighty, how'd the poll go?
Ooh, you won again, baby. You won again. No, you are not the asshole for telling your bigoted uncle who can't vote right, you can't come to my wedding. And by the way, you've been fired from my life.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. So.
Irish fighting sticks going on in the comments. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, stick fighting. Okay. What the heck? How many? Okay, so no. Let me get back to. Sorry, I got distracted. Um. Okay, so OP actually said,
Okay.
in this, okay, so apparently there was something about an ad. So the leg picture looked like an advert for a gym, so I assumed he thought the ad was funny. I made a comment and he didn't understand.
Wrong string, honey. Look at the title.
And the point was to add.
Oh, I'm going to shoot that switch. We figured out what it is, guys. We just have to fix it. He has a switch that gets linked. You're still frozen, dear. In shock, but still frozen. There you are.
All right. So the feminist point was to add context to his persona, someone who likes to brag about being a feminist, but doing a questionable thing, likewise posting against homophobia, but potentially overreacting because a man asked for a nude. But again, I could just be the one in the wrong and just want to add context. So there was apparently a.
This is a separate post that they've commented on.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it looked like it was with the same post.
Right.
All right. Well, there was an additional comment to that post. I don't think he was actually sad. I think it was my grandmother trying to gaslight me into inviting him. Yeah, not surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very common.
Yeah. So anyway, wanted to add that because it was mentioned.
Right.
Yeah. So alrighty.
Right.
Yay, not the asshole.
Yay, you're not the asshole, and they haven't given the second part post.
All right. But yeah.
I think they only commented on that one part.
Yeah. So I was hoping, but it's only about 3 hours old. We got you the freshest of the fresh assholes.
Exactly. We can't have any stinky ones around here. It is. It's quite cute. I'm gonna have to start learning to respond to some of the poses he freezes in. Because it's like that you froze in. No, that shock and awe one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, clutch thy pearls.
Clutch the pearls.
Yeah. But no, we believe it's a switch problem. We're not sure what's causing the switch to rotate at the time because nothing else is on that stream that's working other than your main computer that you're broadcasting from. So we'll figure it out eventually.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's more so we need to buy better switches. I've got a double switch situation in my office.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, depending upon what's plugged in where, it has to go from device to switch to another switch to another switch to the router.
Right. Of course, I'm kind of piggish, and I think you should run a straight. We've got the stuff to do it.
Well, we may have to get extra cable, but yeah, that's why I really wanted at one point for us to figure out a way to get someone under the house and feed a bunch of cable under the house, so we could run multiple connections
Right.
on their independently, and I could have as straight as possible connection to the router. The only thing I ever want straight in my life.
Well, if the shared offices work, there is no reason to have the modem and router where it is.
Yeah, we could move it in here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that may be the next move of the tech stacks.
Yes.
Yes.
And ordering my Mondo Switch.
Yes. See, there's like 40 different things going on with this move that has done really well so far.
Yes, it has. It's done great.
Yeah.
Might have to call a tech. Can I point out the whole mechanic's wife thing? Like, he suffers from it. I get it. Like, one, let me point out, this is universal. I don't care what field your spouse or significant other works in. Whatever their specialty is, they ain't doing it at home. Like, I don't wake up with a fucking astrological report for my day and a damn 3-card spread laid out for how my day is going to go.
Right.
Personalized to me and only me. Like, no. One, he's like, you can get on network just as easily as I can. And two, call someone else when you do. I ain't reading for you. So I don't actually feel bad.
Right.
When after spending my entire day performing IT services, that I'm like, it's not that bad.
Well, not only that, but we're going to have to make them run cable to that room.
Yes, there is.
That's the other part, is I'm not going to spend our money on cable we don't own.
Do what now?
We don't own the coax that would run into that room.
Into what room?
If we move the router and the modem into that room.
Yeah.
We don't own that. That is all Optimum's responsibility.
Right. But there's already coax in here. We just got to go move it at the box.
Honey, who knows where that coax goes to?
Okay.
That's part of the old cable system.
Poor optional infant.
Yeah.
Hey, it's more modern than what we almost had an internet connection at my grandmother's with.
Right.
Like, she was working on some coax from the 80s.
Right.
Like, it was all brass fittings that had started to, like, corrode. Like, it was...
Yeah. See, that's coming through the floor, so that had to be installed by a very skinny person.
I thought that was the one through the wall.
No, it's through the floor.
I think it comes through the wall first.
Through the wall and then down through the floor?
Yeah. Well, and then up through the floor. Yeah. Okay.
No, because you can't get to that spot.
Okay. That's why I thought it ran around the outside of the houses, because they couldn't crawl under to get to it, so they went around the house and then brought it up through the floor.
That's not right. Yeah, that one's the old setup. We'd have to have a new one put through the house, and they can do that. I paid them enough to.
Alrighty. Yeah, so... Oh, my coworker just bought a $300 keyboard for work, and I got better things to do with my monies. Meanwhile, contractors ain't doing shit. Landscapers ain't doing the lawn. Mechanics aren't working on the car. This is where my theory comes from, is I've never met a mechanic's wife with a decent vehicle. It always has a list of problems.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Always.
Mm-hmm.
Never going to happen. So Shannon said, first thing my grandma taught me about it when I got married, LOL, learn to do it yourself because he ain't doing shit. I mean, granted, Shannon, I think, well, okay, no. If it gets into the whole, like, contractor, fix the toilet, the entirety, okay, then yeah, I could see that. I was having a moment there. I was like, if it's just the block thing,
Mm-hmm.
I can work around that.
Mm-hmm. This
But
is
if
why
it's
Aeson can take a computer apart. Aeson can reset his computer if he needs to. Aeson knows how to back up his computer. Yes, and Aeson will call Julie the minute a computer goes down.
And Brenda says, oh, but they will for their friends. Yes, we do. Sadly, we do. Shannon says, my grandpa was a plumber. He wasn't going to fix anything.
Right.
My dad worked construction. He was a site superintendent. I've been supervised fixing a toilet. I did not need supervision to fix a toilet, but I got supervision to fix a toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Unbeknownst to my dad, it was probably the 6th time I had changed out the internals of that damn toilet.
Mm-hmm.
What did my father actually do specifically for a living? Built water and sewage treatment plants. Cannot get him to change a ball cock to save his life.
Shannon says, my cop friend asked me how to fix things like his brakes. And I'm like, do I look like a mechanic? He says, I mean, no, but you know more than me and my dad. Laugh out loud. I actually know how to do that. I know how to take the brakes off. I know how you have to use a C-clamp to press the calipers down to put the brakes in spot. You have to get them connected together. The pads have to go towards the rotor. If you run your finger around the rotor and you feel a dimple, you need new rotors.
Or at least to have them turned, depending upon how bad the dimple is.
You need new rotors. Don't turn them. Like, no, we're buying new rotors. Get the sledgehammer.
Turn them. No, don't turn them. Please don't turn them. Please do not argue with the mechanic shop you're at. Do not turn the rotors one more time.
Right.
Like, there's a point when your mechanic looks at you and goes, we could turn them. In which you need to be like, no. Not with that look. Not with that expression. No.
Yeah, Aeson's opinion is you never turn rotors, you replace them.
Shannon says, I know how to do it. I just don't have the manual dexterity to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I taught my hubby so he could do it.
Yeah.
Always useful.
Yes.
But no, it is weird. You can end up in life with like weird lives. More importantly, totally disconnected to anything you do professionally or that you are known for.
Yeah.
You can end up with a whole set of skills. And then random people will somehow know this.
Yeah.
Or just generally be like, fuck it, ask him. Maybe he knows.
Right.
And it's like, why did you ask me that? Why would you think I have knowledge on this subject?
Right.
And so, I don't know. I thought I'd give it a shot.
Mm-hmm. The crap I have stored in my brain is ridiculous.
Oh, so Shannon says he made best friends with his bestie and would go, hey, can I use your tools to change oil, do brakes, whatever? And he'd say yes, and it would drive him nuts watching me tell my hubby to move so he could finish it. I know this feeling well. I will say I've encountered the situation where it's like, just tell me what I'm doing wrong, or just come look. Uh-huh. And eventually it's the moment of just get out of my way.
Uh-huh.
Like, Yeah, no, I know people do it on purpose.
All right, guys, we hope you've enjoyed the show.
We do.
And let's take off and take care of our baristas.
Yes. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Joan Owen, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, Devin, and Maria Meyer. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcsbnetwork.com.
Yes. Have a magical night, and we'll see you 5 o'clock on Sunday as we go and work through the week in my planner. Good night, y'all.
Good night.